Okay, so the next clip you're going to see is me working my horse Monty. I'm 6'2" and he is 17'2", so he's a rather large horse. He is a thoroughbred. He is off the track. He has been off the track for quite a few years now, so I wouldn't really class him as off the track anymore. And we're just doing some very small foundational horsemanship groundwork exercises. Now these exercises can be used as progression and put on each other, stacked on as a structured routine, or they can be used as individual corrective exercises when you need them. So I'm just presenting you with the information. What you do with that information from the moment you hear me is up to you, but again, just a little disclaimer, horses are dangerous, safety first. I am a professional. These are professional services I offer. If you have any queries, give me a message. If you're in the area, I am able to pop out. I have an on-the-go services. So I'm hoping to provide information in forms of video format to you, the audience, to help you and your horse at home and be readily able to do just about anything with your horse. So, on that note, enjoy the next clips. This is probably the first thing I would do that I haven't done with him, is desensitize him. He thinks everything I do is asking him something. And as you can see, it leads to a bit of distress. And it's not meant to lead to distress. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. Good. Pull him up. Don't let him go too far. Don't let him crack on too hard. Yeah. Once he settles, give him a good pat. Good. Yeah. You want to talk to your horse. Sometimes working in silence is good, but sometimes it's not. Sorry, I just had to scare the other one away. Now, to tell him that it's not doing anything, I just try to make sure that I'm not looking at him. Look at the space. This horse is very insecure in his body. Could be because I'm the owner and I'm pretty insecure in my body too. But yeah, he's something I need to work towards. Because he is my own horse, I don't think too hard about doing too much with him, because I can put up with a lot. I just asked my ex-boyfriend. So because I can put up with a lot, I don't necessarily train my own horses to my expertise, but I do, however, train other people's horses to perfection, because for other people, this is people-pleasing tendencies, but for other people, it's easier for me to give them back a perfect horse, or to create a perfect horse for them, instead of making my own horses better. And I know that's probably a really shit thing to say, but well, I mean, I used to make them really good. Okay, try again. Now, most of the time with horses, you just want to do your thing. You just want to do what you were doing. Don't think too hard about it. Okay? The moment you think too hard about it, the moment that you make it a scary thing, which could be the way that you approach the horse, you might be a little bit cautious or a little bit nervous. That there is one indication that you're probably taking one step too far, perhaps, and you need to take it back a little bit, because nervousness usually shows up to me as questioning our ability or questioning whether we're actually up to the correct step. You also don't want to stay behind and do too much, because you do get complacent, and then when you do try to step out of your comfort zone, it's even scarier than what it was if you had just solidified the information and cracked on with it. So you can tell that he is not scared as much anymore, and we're not doing too bad. Again, I'm not looking at him. I'm not asking him anything from the way that I'm doing things. I don't really want him in the space that I'm at, so I'll ask. Back. Good. Back. Back. Yeah. Good. And again, like I was saying before, you want to talk to them. You want to make sure they know it's okay. That was just a quick correction, just to tell him to stand still and stand there. And sometimes these things happen really quickly. Now I'm just going to walk this way. If he follows, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's fine as well. But I'm just doing this to desensitize him, because that's one thing I've had come to my attention right now, is to desensitize Monty, because he's very sensitive. Mars just thinks she's in trouble. And again, this could take a couple of weeks. It's definitely not going to take one session. And again, just do what you got to do and get out. Do what you got to do and get out. Do what you got to do. Good boy. And get out. Good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just watching Mars because she's behind the camera and she's a camera thief. Good boy. Again, same thing. I'm not asking him anything, so my energy is low. You can see he's starting to relax into what we're doing, our activity. Good boy. A nice lick and chew. Very good. I used to deal with clients, and I'm not going to lie, I don't deal with clients anymore, mostly because I've had a really rough 4 years and I'm still recovering from that. I've also got a couple of health issues that I need to take care of. But otherwise, this is basically going to be a series on how to get your own horse quiet. Not necessarily about training other people's horses, even though I can do that, and I will eventually go back to doing that. But right now, I just want to make it a series of, I just pulled my horse out of the paddock, now what do I do? I just pulled my horse out of the paddock, now what do I do? I just pulled my horse out of the paddock, what do I do? Well, the first thing I would do is just to test the waters and see how responsive they are to the halter. Because the halter is the most important thing to our safety right now in this situation, we want to make sure the horse has respect for it. He's not really paying attention, and that's okay, because I know where his attention is and I know he's going to bring it back to me in a moment. There we go. Tension's still here, but it's a little bit over there, and that's okay. If I moved, he would pay attention. He's back to me partially. That's probably because we're a little bit boring here. This horse is a very high processing horse, very highly strung. He's very smart, a little bit clumsy, but that's probably because he's tall, like myself. This is Monty. His real name is Monster, but I don't like that name. I call him Monty. High strung, very good thinker, perhaps overthinker, very anxious, not very much in his body, but I haven't really done too much with him, and I've had him, he is now, I think he's 16 now, and I've had him since he was 9. He was very skinny when I got him, so we've gotten him fat. It took a couple of years to get him fat and to keep him fat, because he would very quickly drop off, so I had to work on stress management, so that's the groundwork. And I haven't really done too much with him. Again, like I was sort of saying before, is that they're my horses and I'll do what I want with them, and I can put up with a lot. So if they're not up to your standards, don't worry, because you're not the one dealing with them, I am. Now, if they were up to someone else's horses or someone else's standards, yeah, I would need those horses to be up to their standards, because that's a part of the professional services. But for me, I just want to make this a series, nice and relaxed, but also empowering those that are perhaps a little bit nervous when it comes to their own horses. Maybe you've had issues catching them. Maybe you've had issues being with them. Maybe you think horses aren't for you after you bought them. This is just going to be a short series that helps you yourself with that, if that makes sense. So again, just to make sure he's not too complacent, I'm just going to throw the flag around again, and I'm not going to look at him too hard. Like, I'm always going to check in with him once. 2 eyes on me when I check. And when I ask something, now I haven't asked him anything, so if he goes anywhere, again, we're not moving, we're not changing anything we're doing. I don't want to look at him though, because the moment I look at him that's when his attention is on me and coming to me. So right now, I'm just looking around, my energy is low, I'm not asking anything, but if I approach and ask something, this is what I would do. I would approach and ask the hind end. That's it. Good. Good. Yeah. And just leave him alone. Give him a nice pat if you want, but leave him alone otherwise. Horses enjoy autonomy. They enjoy making decisions for themselves. They enjoy working with us, but they enjoy being with us when they're themselves. Too often, there is, sorry, I lost my train of thought because Mars was going to take the camera. Back, 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 back. And I don't like to do this on a long lead, a short lead, because if I do this on a short lead, let's just come back into frame again. If I do this on a short lead, I don't feel as though he's got enough vision of me. You want the horse to see you. The moment you go under here, the horse sometimes gets nervous because they can't see you. They can't tell what you're asking or what you're about to do. Some horses, like race horses, are trained to do that, so that's fine as well. So let's go, what we do to one side, we do to the other. So what I did before is yield the hindquarters. So I'm just going to yield the hindquarters again. I'm just stepping in, just gentle. I'm going to ask him, stop my body. Now I walk. Yep, good, good. Now I just put this right at my neutral position next to my leg so he knows that I'm not asking anything again. Good boy. We want to talk to him, we want to stay connected. I also am filming a video, so I'm not going to expect him to always be on me and attention on me. I also expect him though to be able to recognize that I'm talking to someone else other than himself, so that he has some autonomy to stand there by himself and be himself and do himself, okay? If we don't have a horse that's okay in themselves, we have issues with attachment problems. That's where you see the anxious attachment, not wanting to leave the herd, they don't feel safe with you, all of that. So, there's a couple dogs here wandering around, but otherwise it's rather quiet. So when you first start, you want to make sure that you're in a safe place. So this paddock, though it is 5 acres, so it's rather large, if the horse got away, I'd have to walk after him and go for a hike, but that's okay. Because it's fully enclosed, it's secured, there's no open areas, they can't get away. So that's number one, close all the gates. Number two, you want to make sure you've got good equipment, that it's up to date, up to standards, correctly fitted, and you want to make sure that nothing is fraying and there's no problems with the connections, like at the halter here. You want to make sure that everything's all sweet and secure there and fitted properly. So the first thing I would teach your horse, and what I'm going to reinforce with my own, is simply following a feel. Being able to step forward when I ask and step back when I ask. Good. Again, you can do this on a short lead or you can do this on a long lead. This horse has had a little bit of groundwork, so he does know some things. Back, back. And that's why I'm able to use a longer lead. Good boy. But if you have a horse, perhaps it's freshly off the track, you're probably going to need to use a little bit more force and perhaps get the lead to about here, just so that you have the ability to maneuver their body and so that they don't run off. Now, I don't want him to anticipate that I want him to go backwards, so I'm just going to ask him forwards a little bit more again. That's it. Give him a pat. Now we want him back. We want him back, 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 back. And he's good at following the feel, but again, I have had him since he was 9 and he is 16. I haven't done sweet FA with him over that time though. So this year, leading into next year, is our year to finally solidify the information and get him confident in his body. As for Mars, she is retired. She's not the hired cameraman, so she shouldn't be in that position, but we'll keep an eye on her because I want to keep this video rolling. Thank you. All right, so the next thing I would teach a horse while standing in front, and these are progressive exercises. They can be stacked on each other and worked through in a routine. Once the horse has the routine down pat, sorry, she nearly got the camera. Once the horse has the routine down pat, we will then be able to throw in either new movements or new information, or we can present them with the same information in a different structure. So that gives us the ability to test their knowledge in a different sequence. But this is also a good way to solidify the information, so when you do take your horse out, whether that be to pony club by itself or in a large crowd. Sorry, Mars, I don't need you there. Back, 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 back. Now again, I'm not asking hard, I'm not asking too much. He hasn't been in work, he hasn't done too much. This is sort of the beginning of the beginning. I've pulled him out of the paddock and this is the product that we've got from paddock condition. So hopefully over the next, well, I'm planning on a year, but who knows how or where this will take me or whatever happens, happens. But basically, we're going to move through how I would train a horse with my own horse. And hopefully within that year, we will be able to go out to see clients and I'll be able to film. I still have to get some contracts written up for the consent for that, but we're getting there very slowly. We've now got our microphone so you can hear us from a distance while I do these things, and hopefully we'll get riding shortly. But for now, I had to take his shoes off a few weeks ago because the farrier had gone on holiday and I'd buggered up my timing because I thought I had messaged her, but apparently her account got hacked, so I was unable to get them done. So I had to take them off myself, which is okay because I left the foot so that the farrier can come put new shoes on, then we can go for a ride. Okay, got a little bit sidetracked, but right now, the next thing I would teach a horse, we're just going to line him up. Yes, it's a truck. Back. Now you want to be back. Intentional with what you're asking. You don't want to half ask it, and you also don't want to ask it being nervous. And some of those ways that I find that help me is taking a deep breath, letting it out, another one, just to make me feel a little bit more grounded. Yeah, I'm aware those things are happening, but I need you over here, buddy. All right, so the next thing I would teach your horse is simply just to move over here. Good. And again, these might seem like useless things to do with your horse, but these all progressively add together and help your horse with its foundations when riding as well. Because what we do on the ground, we do in the saddle. I've always said that, and I will always continue to say that. And I know his attention's elsewhere, but I am filming a video. I'm by myself and I'm not too phased, you know. This is for those people, those folks at home that really want to quieten their horse down and get their confidence back, but perhaps don't necessarily have the money to get a professional out. We'll build on this because I'd like to add in as well how to buy a horse, how to know if the horse is right for you, and all sorts of those types of subtopics. But right now, I keep getting sidetracked. That's the ADHD, but that's fine, and we will continue on. The third thing that I would teach your horse from this one, from stepping side to side, which is sort of like a shoulder yield, and moving forwards and backwards, go the other side, because what we do to one side we do to the other. Pull forward and back. The next thing that I would teach your horse, and this is all to help with softening into the halter, I would just teach him that, but I would be asking him. So you just ask gently. Again, I have done a little bit more with him, but I haven't done a whole lot with him. So he still knows stuff. He's not completely green and he's not completely off the track, but he is an off the track thoroughbred. He has had time to rest and I haven't really done too much with him. So he's not perfect, but he's something to start with, a project. So now, he already knows. So now let's try again. And when he gets to that point, you can let go, or not completely, always hold on with one hand, but basically you want to ask with pressure and release. Pressure and release, pressure and release. And if he tries to stand up with his head, we just want to ask him back down. This is just another way to ask a horse to be a little bit more softer, and it allows us eventually to translate this into the saddle through our steering aids and our braking aids, and the ability to get the horse to work correctly and properly. Good. Now you always want to give them a reward. Sometimes I miss it. Rusty! Sometimes I miss the little rewards. Sometimes they actually do the thing, but it's so little that my human eye didn't quite catch it. My horses also know that when I say good, it's an instant relief for them. They know that they've hit the target. This is just a cheap handkerchief on a cheap flag pole thing I bought for like $7. I'm trying to invest in a better one and find a supplier so I can add that onto my website. The way that I hold the rope is like this, so that it can slide in and out. You can hold it like this, but I do this. Your finger acts as a director, so direction, it shows the direction. It's also not going to be hard and firm, so you're not jabbing at the horse. So you have that soft feel to be able to change the way that you have your hand and be able to pull it in. You're also able to pivot on that thumb point to change whether you're asking a direction or whether you're pulling up a horse or whether something's gone wrong and you've got to pull the horse up again. So again, like this. Let me see if I've got it like this. You can also do it like this, just as long as it slides, but you've also got it secure in the other hand. So this is just asking, and this is the anchor. Right. So get practicing, and don't forget to subscribe, like, check out my bio with the link, maybe buy a shirt or a jumper. The next thing you can look forward to is another series on getting myself, the rider, fitter, because I have bought a book and I've got a couple of other books that we can incorporate as resources towards gearing ourselves to being a better rider in terms of fitness. And that will be the next series. But for now, the series will remain as helping you to help your horse, helping you to get confidence and do things with your own horse. I'm only going to be focusing on one of my main horses and getting his information and knowledge solid and helping him to be back in his body. Now, I haven't worked him very hard, so he doesn't necessarily need a cool down. He does, though, always needs a warm up. Number one, warm yourself up, stretch, then warm him up, then warm up together, and then go about your business. Recently, I've gone through some personal changes, emotional disruptions, so I'm a little bit scattered and a little bit everywhere, a little bit confused, a little bit lost, but that's okay because this is going to bring me right back on track and align me with my life's purpose. And hopefully help millions of people. At this stage, it's probably going to be maybe 12 people, but hopefully I help you in some way or another, and hopefully you return for the next video. So I enjoyed making this. Thank you for sticking around through that whole jimble, jamble, blah. And I'll try to keep it a little bit more structured next time in the next video. We're based in Australia. We are horse lovers. I love horses. I've loved horses all my life. I've had horses since I was 6 years old. I've done everything myself until I was about 18 when I got a sponsorship for a year with a photography company. And then I was able to go to clinics with professional instructors and coaches and further my education and my horses in those times. But from 6 to 18, I did everything myself. I trained, I don't know, maybe 30 horses in that time and sold them. And yeah, but you'll get to know me eventually now that I'm posting a little bit more regularly. This is only the first video of the series and the first, I don't know, video, full stop really. So you're not really going to get to know me as well as you probably would if you follow along with the series. So hopefully that's enough information for you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out some clothing that I have, link in my bio. So that's the end of that. I hope you enjoyed our series. I hope you come along on the journey, the training journey, and I hope that you learn something from this too. Enjoy your night, keep scrolling, keep it up, keep going to your horses. It's okay, you're not pathetic. They deserve you as a home. They don't need to go anywhere else. It's okay if they're not living up to their potential. There's millions of horses in this world. The horses have to sit in someone's paddock and it's better off yours. So keep that in mind when you think about selling a horse that you think you're no good for, because you are good enough. You are, we are good enough. Good night.